show. Lots ahead on the show today, and I do need you to listen very carefully to this first story because it's going to take all of us a little while to get our heads around. Okay, so are you listening carefully? Right, I shall say this probably more than once, but here we go. Dad is pregnant and is having a baby. Should someone who has decided to change their gender then be helped to have a baby? It's happened in America. Will we soon be seeing pregnant men here in the West Midlands?
Finding out you're pregnant is a life-changing moment for anyone, especially if you're a man.
I'm about to try and take a pregnancy test and we'll see what happens.
What's going on there?
Baby's going on in there.
This is the story of an extraordinary couple.
I love you.
Pushing themselves to extraordinary limits.
Oh, there's that belly. You're having a contraction right now.
In the ordinary endeavour to raise a family.
Who's this little one?
This is my son. Look, say hi, Miles. You did it, baby.
I don't think it's natural.
I'm sorry, I'm seething.
God created women to be women and men to be men.
Anyone that thinks that we are different or strange can go jump off a cliff for all I care.
I'm not going to let one person's opinion of me destroy my family.
Wow. That is a clip taken from a television documentary that is on tonight. We're going to be discussing some of the issues around the subject on a local level before 10 o'clock. But first, let's find out more about this bizarre programme, Dad's Having a Baby, from the producer of the documentary, Anna Keel. Good morning, Anna.
Hello there.
Just tell us who these two men are and what their situation is in a little bit more detail, so hopefully my listeners will get their head around what's happening here.
Okay, well, Scott and Tom were both born as Jessica and Laura. So Scott was born as a little girl called Jessica. Tom was born called Laura. And they both had various forms of sexual reassignment surgery because they believed that they were men from a very young age. They felt like boys. So they met when they were both men and decided that they were gay men, fell in love, got married, and so they now live as a gay partnership. So it's quite difficult for a lot of people to get their head around the fact that they've had a sex change and they're also gay. But there are a lot of people who've had sex changes who are gay.
Now, there are already in this story two other children, aren't they?
Yes.
Who are, how old are they?
The children are 11 and 13, Greg and Logan. And Tom, who is married to Scott, who had baby Miles, he was actually with somebody before he met Scott, who was the mother of these children, who sadly lost her life. So he took them on.
Hold on, you're going to ask. I've lost you now. Who had the baby? Which man had the baby?
So none of the men have had a baby because obviously they were both born as women. It is very confusing for people to get their heads around. They were both born as girls, so neither of them have had these two sons. They're adopted sons.
Right, but they belong to who? Tom
they belong
or Scott?
to Tom. So Tom adopted them
okay.
To save them being taken into care because they would have both been taken into care. And then Scott is the one that eventually gave birth.
So Tom already had 11-year-old and 13-year-old Greg and Logan, and then he got with Scott, and it was Scott that actually, because he still had his ladies' bits inside, gave birth to Miles.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, now, what was the thought behind this film? Why did you decide to make it?
Well, it was offered to me. They'd already been the characters had already been found by a production company, Firecracker Films, and I just thought it was a fascinating story because one, it's quite confusing for people to understand, you know, the whole sort of sexuality versus gender thing. We probably think. I mean, a lot of people asked me when I was making it, why would they have a sex change and then decide that they are attracted to the same sex? You know, it throws up all sorts of questions. And then a lot of people have also said, that's not right. You can't have a sex change and become a man and then decide that you want a baby. You can't have both ways. But, you know, and it seems to cause a lot of debate. And I like making documentaries about things that cause debate and make people think. Because Scott would answer, you know, who wrote the rule book? There is no rule book. He wants to have a baby. He has the working parts that allow him to have a baby in a way that most people would consider female. But in his mind, he's still a man.
When you met them,
Yeah.
and after you'd been working with them for a while, Anna, did you, because a lot of people are going to be listening to this one saying this is sick, these people are freaks. Did you feel that by the end? Or did you feel that this was a couple that can really offer a child a stable upbringing and a good family?
The latter. I went in really thinking, you know, it's always my job to challenge people, but it's also my job to try and like everybody that I work with in some way and try and empathise with them and tell their story. So I went in trying to feel neutral, but like probably a lot of people, I admit, I did think, wow, these people are quite strange. You know, I'm going to be spending 2 weeks with this very strange family, and I did feel a certain amount of apprehension about that, I will admit. But I met them, and I soon forgot that they were transgender, gay men, one of whom had a baby, and just felt that they were people. You know, they're quite intellectual, thoughtful people, in fact, and funny, good sense of humour. You know, they believe in family. You know, they're very good parents. That Logan and Greg are very well behaved, very eloquent, do well at school, very well loved boys. So, you know, they are capable of providing a stable family unit.
I'm talking to Anna Keel this morning. She's the producer-director of a documentary that's on Channel 4 tonight called Dad's Having a Baby. You've just heard her say there that Scott and Tom are very good parents. I'd love to know what you think about this issue this morning, please. 08453 009956. I suppose the issue is if somebody's made the decision to change their gender, should they then have help to start a family? You can text me 81333. Start your message with WM. More on this after the travel now on BBC WM.
BBC WM Eyewitness Travel.
Johnny, how's it looking?
A lot better in Lichfield now, because there was an accident earlier on Trent Valley Road between Cappers Lane and Burton Old Road, very close to Lichfield Trent Valley Railway Station, but the vehicles involved in that accident have now been recovered. Bit slow on the northbound M42 from junction 1 at Bromsgrove up to 3A for the M40, and the M5 north as you reach the very top of that motorway and merge with the M6 is still a bit slow moving, but the M6 steadily improving southbound from 10A down to junction 6 for Birmingham, and not too bad on the northbound side of that motorway from 4A up to 5 for Castle Bromwich. Earlier delays into Birmingham have cleared as well for the Aston Expressway and the Queensway area through the tunnels there. On the trains, we've still got disruption for cross-country and London Midland services through Bromsgrove because of emergency engineering work taking place there. No indication as yet when that work will be completed. So for the time being, there's delays on the line between Birmingham New Street and Bromsgrove, obviously, and through towards Barnt Green, but trains just further afield towards the Cheltenham Spa and Worcester Shrub Hill areas also affected by that, both north and southbound. Now, if you can update us, you can call BBC WM Travel 08453 002288.
Thank you very much, Johnny. We're discussing a television documentary on tonight. Dad is having a baby. Yes. A man that used to be a woman is pregnant and having a baby. Love to know your thoughts on this one, please, this morning. 08453 009956 is the number to call, or you could text 81333. Start your message with WO. If somebody's made the decision to change their gender, should there then be help for them to start a family? It's a tricky one. The discussion continues here on BBC WM after the weather.
BBC WM weather.
Cloudy at times this morning, otherwise dry and bright at times as well. Generally becoming sunnier by the afternoon. Cooler in rural areas such as Sutton Park. So take a woolly out if you're walking your pet around Sutton Park this morning. Maximum temperature 18 degrees C. Tonight, a dry night with long clear spells, mist and fog patches forming in places. Temperatures around 2 degrees, so a lot cooler than it's been of late. And for Friday, 18 degrees Celsius will be the high. It'll be a dry and sunny day with winds light and variable or northerly.
BBC WM is the only local radio station for Birmingham and the Black Country, based in the West Midlands.
More than 600 police officers are being forced to retire from West Midlands Police.
Reporters delivering news and sport stories 24 hours a day.
Our reporter Asad Beg has been to Plek.
BBC WMZ Doors is in Victoria Square now.
We are the news and sport radio station for the West Midlands.
You don't know what you're doing is the cry from the Holt End. That must be music to Mick McCarthy's ears.
This is BBC WM.
You're listening to Joanne Malin on BBC WM this morning until 12. I just asked my producer, Gary Butcher, has there been any reaction to this lead story yet? He said absolutely